that comment plus what Dylan was doing kind of got me thinking, like, who is the most underrated Toronto Blue Jay, like, these days, like, coming into 2022, I guess.
I feel like I've said it a bunch, or we've said it a bunch. Is Santiago Espinal. He's one of the most underrated guys.
Could be.
I think so. I think Romano's starting to get pretty rated. Like, I think a lot of, like, fans around baseball rate him. Like, that's one of the better closers in the league. So I honestly would say Santiago Espinal.
That's reasonable. I think that you're right. Romano gets rated by the fans. I don't think that he has the apparition or the acknowledgement, of everybody around the league necessarily. I don't think that you're gonna find a Dodgers fan or a Angels fan or any fan pretty much of anyone who maybe not in the AL East is gonna know Jordan Romano. And that's reasonable. There are definitely some closers out there that I'm not as familiar with over in the NL necessarily, who are probably doing good stuff like Romano is.
You know what needs to happen is we need to go to a postseason game.
Yeah.
And then people will start knowing. Because I started learning a lot about the Atlanta Braves bullpen. Like, I knew about Will Smith, but I start to really know about Will Smith.
Yeah.
And there's another guy in their pen, and he's like a hard name to pronounce.
Yeah.
But I started knowing, I'm like, oh, this guy's elite, too. Now I know him.
No, you're absolutely right, dude, and that's the thing. Because why do I have any reason to know about you if you're not going to be in the postseason?
Yeah.
You have to give me a reason to know about you. If you win games in the playoffs, I go, oh, holy shit!
Yeah, oh, you're good.
There's that guy right there. He can lock it down. Against the best lineups when the pressure's on.
I love it. Hey, this is actually I thought about this one too. Jay coming in here saying Adam Simber.
That's a pretty good one too. Actually,
he is very underrated. No one will see. I guarantee you, someone from the NL West will have. Oh, I guess maybe if they played the Miami Marlins, but I guess if someone far away from the Toronto Blue Jays would be like Adam Simber, like, huh? Like,
not even that, but even the good, because he's not even a closer. He is a setup guy,
right?
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
And, like, very rarely, even the good setup guys on other teams, I don't really know them.
They have to be former closers like the Chicago White Sox. All three of them are former closers.
They have to be some of the best sort of setup guys in the league, right? You look at a guy like Joe Kelly, and he's a bullpen guy, but the main reason that I know him is not of his on-the-field talent. It's because of his freaking, like...
2020 thing with the Astros.
Exactly, and, like, throwing at them and stuff like that. And now I know him, and I'm like, oh, you are very good on the field as well, right? But I never knew about him prior to that.
Exactly.
Same thing with Simber too. I think with a lot of other people. I also think that and Sebastian comes in here with
Teoscar, which honestly, it's kind of crazy. You'd think he wasn't rated properly, even though he was an all-star.
I think he's rated though. I think he's rated. I think so.
He's like properly rated.
I do believe so, man. I guarantee. And here's the test for me. I bet and I haven't listened to John Boy's podcast in a long time, but I guarantee if you got Jake, if you got John Boy, you got Trevor Plouffe talking about Teoscar Hernandez, they would talk about him in a very high regard.
That's true, but they're also really close to us in terms of the AL East. Like, they know all about him.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree, but I don't think that they would talk about like Santiago Espinal for them would fall totally flat.
Yeah,
like they'd have no idea about Santiago Espinal. Whereas I think at this point, at this point they would look at Teoscar, and I think that they would be like, he's right up there in the conversation of, Bo Bichette on our lineup and like George Springer on our lineup. Like I think that they know him as a guy, a staple of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Be careful of Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah. I think too, and I always kind of like echo this guy and champion him the entire way. But I do believe that the Lord has never got the praise that the Lord has, and part of the reason is because he has never had an entire 162 games of like full on potential hitting stuff.
And I think he gets lost in the bottom of the lineup too.
He also gets lost in that 6, in that 7, in that 8 spot. And Montoya refuses to put him higher. This year, though, it might have to be just out of straight necessity, considering Marcus Semien's not going to be around anymore. And if Biggio's going to flop, then, Lord, you're going to have to be 5 or 6.
Yeah, Lord will be.
At least.
He should be, unless we get a lefty, and then he's 7 again.
Exactly. Well, even if Biggio's good, right, it's like you got Springer, you got Biggio, you got Vlad, you got Bo, you got Tio. Lord has to be 6 now, in my opinion.
True.
Right?
Unless we get, like, I don't know, he even did
another lefty.
Dude, he even did this sometimes, too. Like, and I love Kirk. He put Kirk, then the Lord. But I think Lord's better than Kirk.
I do believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's not abhorrent to me, because I do like Kirk's got a very good ability to get on base.
Yeah,
You know, he does
Lord
have
doesn't have
that's
that
the thing.
much,
Like he is more of a I can hit the baseball very well. So I guess I understand what Montoya is doing there, where it's like Kirk gets on, maybe lower batsman. We have a little bit of a bottom half thing going on.
That's where I'd rather have like guys who can drive and runs in that middle part, and then like Kirk push him down towards the bottom, so that sets up the top half.
Very true as well. Yeah, I think it all depends how the innings kind of go about it, right? It's like if you go through 4 people in the first inning, then maybe Montoya's strategy works out pretty well. You kind of get a fresh new inning, and then it's like you get people on base, and then you have other people. But yeah, I do agree. It's like usually it's like you want to get your meat in the freaking middle parts, and then you have like speedy dudes and dudes who have high OBPs on the outside, and like that makes a lot of sense.
It kind of it's like a fluid motion, like top part of the lineup, bottom part of the lineup on base, and it's like usually bottom part of the lineup don't have as much pop as the top part.
Yeah,
and then like that middle part's like just driving runs, power, and all that kind of stuff.